All right, guys, welcome to the MediaPost stage. Let's start with some quick introductions.
I'll go first. I'm Natalie Johnson, Marketing Director of Rusty Taco. We have about 35 locations across the United States. Some are freestanding, but we also have non-traditional, so airports, stadiums, convenience stores. And I've been with the brand for 9 months now, so still relatively new, but really excited to be here. And I've gotten a lot of insight so far from all of you, so thanks.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Caprice Kindgren from Urbane Cafe. We are a California-based brand, started in 2003. We do sandwiches and salads, all made from scratch on our fresh-baked focaccia bread, which is like the heart of our cafe. You see it getting made right in front of your eyes. In every location, we do it by scratch, by hand, in each restaurant, so it's kind of special. We do everything in the store, chop, dice, slice, all the ingredients, so that kind of what makes us a little bit special. We have 35 locations as well, and we are founder-owned still, so we don't have any franchises, and we're growing. We have 35 in California, and then we just opened 2 in Nevada, so slowly growing, kind of following that in and out route, going Arizona, Utah, California, and Nevada. Way, so.
Now, I have to know, did you guys coordinate your outfits?
Do we match?
No.
Yeah, no.
I noticed that as she was walking up too.
This is brilliant. This is fantastic. No, real conversations. So affordability, top of mind for everybody, right? I think we're all trying to figure out how do we make our food more affordable, whether it's the price or whether through it's another communication of value, right? So how do you approach communicating value without immediately resorting to a discount?
Yeah, so at least for us, like I mentioned, like everything is fresh and scratch made. So that's really what we lean into. We are in California, so we have the lovely opportunity to have to jump through the hoops of paying our team members a lot more than maybe some other you guys do. So we are very self-conscious with having to balance that act of, paying our employees at least $20 an hour, and then also giving people like fresh quality food at a good price. Luckily, our CEO and founder is very much on the same page of making sure that we get a value. We went through the recession in 2008, and we were still a brand when people went down from dining in and full service restaurants, they went to fast casual, which really helped us out a lot because we had to keep our price points low and didn't overextend on that. And so he's very much about that, like making sure that we can balance paying our people what they deserve, giving the guests what they want at a good price point, and it's really helped us grow a lot. Yeah.
Similar response to Capri. I think a lot of our messaging is around value is from our quality of our ingredients, our scratch-made salsas, things like that. We really pride ourselves on the time it takes us to make our food and really make it amazing for our guests and our experience. So there's value in that authentic food that's coming from our kitchen. Another thing that we do too to drive more value is bundling. So we just recently launched combos across all different day parts, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's been doing really well for us. So just being really transparent in the pricing, instead of maybe a BOGO burrito, we're saying a side, drink, and 2 tacos is $12.99. There's no guessing, there's no gray area. The guest knows what they're gonna get, and they can trust us, so.
What do you guys think are some of the biggest misconceptions when we're talking about driving performance within the restaurant industry?
I think that it's instant. Like sometimes, especially when you're like being pressured for performance marketing, is that, oh, you turn on this thing, it'll go right away. And sometimes it really does. But also there is, you gotta A/B test sometimes, you gotta optimize, you have to be more strategic about things. So I think that's definitely a misconception that we can do one thing and it'll be instant, as well as like it's all based around discounts. I think that if you do some non-discounting rewards, you can lead to actually bringing repeat purchasing and things like that that'll actually have some long-term growth for you instead of doing it, instant right away, but actually help you in the long run.
Yeah, I think I get that question a lot from franchisees. We're spending all this money on media. Where are the sales? Well, we launched this yesterday. This is a long-term goal for us. So we're still, working out on that strategy, and they don't all understand that sometimes. So just communicating that to them. But also, I had another thought when you were saying that. It'll come to
it'll
me.
come
It'll
back
come
to
to me.
you.
Yeah.
Caprice, you said non-discounting rewards, right? I love that. Can you share some examples of what are some rewards or perks that you give that isn't a discount?
Yeah, so we have a marketplace on our app. So we have a bunch of free sandwich, free salad, cookie, drinks, soup, stuff like that. So we lean into our loyalty program a lot. So when guests order, a certain amount, they get 10 points for every dollar that they spend. And then that actually helps them kind of get that repeat purchase as well. And it's actually really good for us because it's, a sandwich has a high value perception of like $15, but it's actually only costing us, like under $5. So it's actually giving the guest a lot, and so that value is there, but it's not hitting us as much as like saying I'm giving away $5 actual dollars when you spend 25 or something like that. So it actually helps us in that regard as well.
My thought came to me.
I knew that was going to trigger
Yeah,
it for you now.
I know. Creative strategy gets overlooked sometimes, and there's a lot of importance in what that design is. And I actually have the same guy as Jeff. So,
Is his name Micah?
well, okay, Micah and Pierce, they work very closely together. So you saw his box. We have another box coming. So just get excited. But yeah, I think really that's important, and that creative can motivate a consumer to make a purchase right away. So it's important to keep that in mind, and it's a misconception because I've seen some other brands just not focus on it as much, and it's something ever since I came to Rusty's I'm very focused on.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys think through creative testing or variants to see how are we going to land this creative that would immediately drive some sort of reaction?
Totally. We never throw out the same ad. We use different colors and different click-throughs and really try to see what our customers are engaging with most as we launch every campaign. So.
Caprice, what about you? You've been doing
Yeah.
A/B testing to see what works in performance. Is creative part of that, or are there other levers?
Creative is part of that, but I think more it's also offers. Like we, say like we really want to get feedback on something, we'll do like an A/B test, and sometimes I find, and maybe it's because it's our most, loyal guests that are responding to them. They don't even need a reward. So I'm like, okay, great, let's do that one, let's run with that one, and it actually works a lot when we don't have to give anything away. But that is the value of doing the A/B testing because you really find out what is resonating with the guest.
Yeah. What about, we all run LTOs in this room. We're very familiar with the 4 to 6 month calendar windows. Have you guys thought through like scarcity or urgency or, last chance time to messaging to really drive that home for the transaction purchase?
Yeah, we do, but we focus more LTOs on like the innovation aspect. So what we want to show is like obviously we have quality and consistency, but we also are innovative, and so that's kind of where our LTOs lean more. So we use different flavors, maybe things that we wouldn't normally put on the menu, but that's kind of where we lean into that. But we do for like urgency purposes, we're kind of leaning into kind of what Starbucks does with the challenges, and like if you order a certain amount, you can get this reward in a day. So we're starting to play around with that. We use Thanks for our loyalty app, and they're really innovative with doing things like that, so it's been helpful for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we really lean into national holidays. So in the Tex-Mex space, there's National Tequila Day and Taco Day, Cinco de Mayo. I mean, there's so much going on, and naturally our customers celebrate those moments with us. So they know we're doing something. They come to expect that from us. They come to expect an offer or something that day. And we don't really view that as like a discount. We view it as something that just like, thank you for celebrating this big day with us. Here's some free salsa. But yeah, I think overall, like we lean into those more than we do those last chance offers because there's already urgency around that one day holiday.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done that frequently too. And one of our most successful ones actually was on Valentine's Day. It was our grand idea to do a BOGO, and the operators loved me after that. But we kind of toned it down a little bit. They were very prepared in the years after because we kept doing it because they saw how great it actually turned out to be. Like, BOGO. Valentine's Day is like not fast casual, right? Like usually it's like you take your significant other out, you go to a nice dinner. So we kind of get overlooked a little bit. So I was like, how can we get these sales in the door on that day? So a BOGO was a great option for us. When we first did it, it was the buy one, get one. come in the door or order online, which was very overwhelming for the team. And so we kind of moved it to going online, which actually helped us a lot because we can follow our guests, have their data, be able to make that second and third purchase with them, because we were finding that we were getting a lot of people that weren't on the loyalty program already. So it actually helped increase our loyalty downloads, and then we could talk to them a few more times to get that third purchase faster.
I learned firsthand when I first came into restaurant marketing how many days are actually part of the year, like these national holidays that I never existed. You know, Arby's, we did something for National Sandwich Day. Of course, Natalie, I have to know right here, right now, is a taco a sandwich?
No. No, but we do have a cheeseburger taco. So that's kind of a sandwich.
So as we think about kind of the brand awareness aspect that we've talked about earlier in this day, how are you guys thinking about moving big branding campaigns like down the funnel to drive that immediate transaction?
I think what's really helped for us, I mean, having the CEO so hands-on has been actually, you know, it's a nice thing, because he understands that, you know, we are, you know, our COO wants to drive the sales, but the CEO, he understands that we need to talk about our brand and get who we are out there. So a lot of things that I've been using lately is like user-generated content, but not only like social media stuff, but also our reviews. And it's kind of nice to, if you know, you've ever feel down, I just kind of read all the 5 stars, and it kind of helps bring you up. But it's really cool to see like how the guests are resonating with what I'm talking about at the same time, like value, consistency, guest service, like all these things are actually shown through, and it is a testament to the operators as well, because they're doing a fantastic job. But I do utilize that a lot to push that transaction. Yeah.
I just try to take advantage of, we have a small media budget, so every single impression is a chance to drive traffic and, you know, build our brand story with our consumers. So for me, it really is just making sure that every single touch point and message is doing that for us.
So, Caprice, you talked about the user-generated content. Where does that come to life? Like, we don't talk about word of mouth nearly as much as I think we do. It's like the value of a recommendation, or it's like, oh, you like it too. How does that kind of come to your life and your strategy?
You know, we use it a lot in social media. So Papa John's, yay, love you. I'm on social media too, especially with being such a low, like we don't have as much as a budget as some of like these QSR brands. We use social media a lot, and we use influencers a lot, and we're not using the, you know, the dudes or, you know, these big guys, but we're using more niche, local, actually that make a difference in their communities. And those actually turn out really well for us, because they'll work on trade. They'll work on like very low budgets, and so we don't actually pay any of them. We just give them, you know, some discounts. They get to eat their meal for free. Sometimes we'll sign a contract. Sometimes we'll say we'll just invite you to the grand opening. If you want to post a story or not, you get a free meal, or we'll just give them like, you know, a couple $100 on their app. So it's really not cash. It's just utilizing it back to the restaurant. So that's been really successful for us.
You would be really surprised that there's actually a lot of people out there on social that'll do things for just a free taco. Like, I'm like, please, are you sure you will? Like, it's so nice.
Oh, okay. What's the weirdest thing that you found someone do for a free taco?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Should we turn the cameras off?
Yeah. I don't want to be recorded when I say this. No, I'm kidding.
Both of you guys are in those growth stage brands, the emerging brands, right? Everyone would love to have more budget, more resources, compete against the multinational guys, but you're not in that space. So what are some of those low-cost, really high-performance tactics that work really well for you?
Yeah, I would say influencers is like number one, especially because like being a small team, we can use their content and it can kind of just flow through our Instagram and our TikTok, and we're not necessarily always having to post ourselves, which has been super helpful. So we're kind of utilizing them to bounce off, getting into their markets, but then also helping fill our page at the same time. I lean in heavily to email. I think that has been huge for us. And then also local partnerships. So if that's with a local charity or a teacher group or things like that, to kind of build brand awareness and drive transactions within those markets. That's been kind of what we lean into with being a lower budget, but it is a high impact.
100% everything she said, I agree, and that's what we're doing as well. But just to add to that, we also like to do some commercial innovation. So what do we already have in the store? We don't need new SKUs. We can bundle it together, like the combo meals, for example. it's a new thing for our customers. We can position it really cool in the store, so when they walk in, it's easy. They have an option right there they can just point to, and honestly, that's been really successful for us. So we have our taco of the month, but on top of that, we try to create these fun bundles so they don't even have to think when they walk in.
What about personalization, right? Guests say they want personalized experiences. I think we're all focused on ways to build up our loyalty profiles so we can know your past purchase behavior, know your name, what you like to order. Like, where does first-party data come into it? And does personalization drive performance, or is it like a nice to have?
I feel like it's both. Like, you know, if your name's in the email, like, okay, like, or maybe I'm just jaded because I know that that's not really, you're not really sending me an email that has my name in it. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, first party data obviously is huge. I like it because then I don't have to rely on the third party partners to be like, we're doing so good with all this, and if you spend more money, we can do even more for you. And so obviously first party is huge because I can actually see through email or like our CRM or loyalty, like actually what the data is showing for our own guests and not have to rely on other people. So I think that is kind of huge when it comes to the first party and where I really lean into it.
Yeah, the fact that we have access to it, that's amazing. But we leverage ours all the time for our media, so making sure we're targeting the right audiences at the right time with the right message. Really, we're just always focused on our first party data.
We'll go back to discounts for a little bit because it is an easy way to drive that immediate transaction, right? But, you know, nobody in here wants to like become the DSW of the restaurant space where you only go when you have a $20 off coupon. Yeah. So what's the strategic use of discounts and offers without driving down the long-term brand equity?
It's so hard because, like, I know I don't deal with franchisees, but I deal with general managers, and it's kind of almost the same thing, except they don't have the, they didn't do the buy-in, but they get bonused on, sales and all that kind of stuff. So it is a little similar. But, I try to lean away from when they're like, I want to do 10% off all the time for this group of people, and it's like, okay, so are they just going to take advantage of it all the time, or is that actually going to drive people into the restaurant? And so we really lean away from that, kind of like you're saying, the DSW, because we don't want to be like the Macy's or something else where you're like really never going to go in there. If it's anything's full price, you're not going to buy it. So we really lean away from that. But then we'll do, like, say if they want to do something for a certain group or like an apartment complex or something around the corner, we'll do like a one-time offer of like, okay, you can just kind of like Chiba Hut, like just come in and get it for free because we want you just to taste the food. And so we'll kind of lean in more that way than doing like a percentage off or something like that. That way they can actually try it, and then they see the value of when they are going to pay for it full price, they see it in that aspect.
We also do. We have a lot of free food as well. I don't want it to, whatever we do, I don't want it to sound discounty, so we're not going to say 10% off. And, it sounds too much like cheap in my mind, honestly, to be frank. We give away a lot of free food. We do continue talking about that value, and that's really how we approach it.
Do y'all put the ownership into the local restaurants to create those own senses of value or offers, or do you try to maintain brand consistency across all your locations?
Consistency across all locations, yeah. I mean, it's just easier for we do all the social media and stuff in-house, like globally, so kind of figuring out who's doing what and what to promote where and all that stuff, it would just kind of get too much. So we do everything at the top level at the home office. We definitely keep it like that and do it more of a global aspect. Yeah.
Same here, especially in those markets that we have more locations. It's just easier that the customer knows what they're going to get. There's no confusion there, but also easier for me to track so I can see the success of all of our discounts.
Yeah, but I do really appreciate them giving me feedback of what they think, at least, because they know the markets that they're in way better than I do from being at the home office. So at least, like, if I want to have a meeting with you and you want to tell me about your ideas, and we can that gives me a jumping off point to research it more. So at least I can help them in that regard, but they don't get to do full power of, like, each of their discounts. So, yeah.
What's the right balance between branding and performance? Like, is it always 50-50?
I wish. Transparently, no, it's probably 70-30 for us right now. We don't have the, I guess, like, reputation yet to go full in on awareness, so transactions are really important for us right now. So we're doing a lot of performance marketing.
Yeah, I feel like it's very similar, but kind of like I mentioned earlier, having the CEO understand that brand is like, he's kind of on my side to realize, no, we need to talk about the brand, we need to talk about the bread, we need to talk about the ingredients. So he's really on my team when it comes to that. And especially opening in new markets and moving states and stuff like that, we have to have that branding power as well as driving transactions. So it's not 50-50. I think some days it swings one or the other, but yeah, so it's definitely not 50-50. Yeah.
Because money is tight, right, for the growth brands, the emerging brands, but even for the big players who have, hundreds of thousands of locations that they're dealing with. What indicators are you guys looking at to like dynamically adjust spend or tactics if something's not working?
Yeah, I mean, for performance, just like redemptions, straight off the bat, like how many redemptions are we getting? How much did we send out? And like, what's the ratio there? If it's, going really well, we're like, okay, great. If it's not okay, then we need to push a little bit harder. So it's kind of just in time. And we're lucky, I mean, being a smaller brand, we're lucky because we could pivot very quickly. If something's working or not, we can turn it off, turn it on, move. We can get the information to the teams pretty fast. So that is one benefit definitely of being a smaller brand.
Yeah, it's nice. We're just watching our CPM and our sales all the time. So it's pretty easy for us to switch that messaging or switch that channel quickly as well. So same here.
If there was one performance marketing tactic that you had to double down on, like right now, which one would it be?
I think it would be our loyalty program, just because we can see it, we're getting guests in there, and we can see that it's working. It's interesting because maybe I'm the person that likes to bank all my rewards, and so I always think like, people are gonna like bank it and they're gonna go for the biggest item, but no, actually, people, they're either going for the free cookie, which is the lowest reward, which you'll get on a couple spends, or they're going to the high one, but all the ones in the middle are kind of just all over the board. It's like either people bank it, or they save for the save, or they just want the quick free cookie. But our cookies are pretty delicious. They're baked in house and they're warm all day long. They sit on a warmer, so you get a warm, fresh cookie all day long. So I don't blame them for wanting to go for that right away. So yeah.
We're working on a loyalty program. It'll be launched late this year, so I'm really excited to get to tap into all of that. But right now, Meta, we're doing Facebook and Instagram ads. They're doing really well for us. We're seeing a high conversion rate. So I know we've been kind of like shitting on social, but it's doing well for us. So yeah, I'd love to put some money into it if I had it.
Why do you think social is doing so well for you guys?
Well, we've been posting a lot more. We have higher engagement than we used to, but I think we're just focusing so much more on it. We're doing giveaways and things like that. So we're really building up that community. We're also consolidating all of our social media right now. It used to be all the franchisees had their own at every location, and we're trying to, as we create this more consistent branding message, we are bringing it all into one account. So that's been interesting, but it's also driven a lot more, a bigger audience for me to advertise to. So
I think social helps us too, because people don't see us as a big organization, right? Like they see us as the local place, which is very helpful for us. So that's, I think, a lot why we do well on social media, is because, we have a lot where we're from in the Ventura County area and the San Diego area. So like people know we have a couple here, a couple there, but like when we go into newer markets, they're like, oh, is this the only one? So I think that is the benefit of the social media, because you can really go community by community and target these groups. So it feels more like a local place.
Yeah. Last question before I'll open it up to the audience. What do you think are like the next big things that we need to keep in mind for QSR marketing?
So Carrie totally stole my answer with AI, because no one had mentioned it yet, and I was like, that was my answer, AI. But not only, so what we're really thinking about is like we don't have drive-thrus and stuff like that, but like how can we utilize it for voice command? Like I'm driving down the street, I want to just say, pull up Urbane Cafe app and order me the Southwest sandwich, and I need it ready in 10 minutes or something like that. Like where are we leaning into where AI is going to start doing that for us, where we don't have to pull out the app, we don't have to, tell Siri, it's just like AI is going to do it, put the orders, knows my modifications. Like how is that going to work? I feel like we're getting there, that eventually it's going to be through the computer, or through the, your car computer or things like that AI can help us in that aspect.
Yep.
And also partnerships. I know Jeff talked about it prior to this, but I really feel like partnerships have a lot of opportunity. You can leverage their audiences across all of their channels and really build a name for your brand through others. So something that smaller brands are doing, I'm leaning into that really heavy. So I think really those partnerships, bigger partnerships.
Yeah. Questions from the audience?
Don't make Erin call on you. Oh, snap.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson with Arby's. Natalie, you mentioned that social's been working for you. Are you like, what is your strategy on social media? Is it like banner ads? Are you doing video, or how are you managing that?
Banner ads, yes, but also we're kind of doing a mix. We've only been doing it for 3 months now with this new agency, Zeta, and so they've put together the strategy. I really couldn't talk to all of it, honestly, but I think we threw out like 4 different types of creative, 4 different types of messaging, but all going to the same place, and we're just getting that, we're seeing a high conversion to our website right now, so yeah, in short.
For us, we really utilize it when we're going to new markets. So our goal by 2030, we're going to have 100 restaurants. By 2030 is our goal. We're opening actually 4 this month, so I'm trying to like answer all the emails while I'm sitting here. But yeah, so we have a really heavy growth strategy. So we're really leaning into it more on when we're opening in new markets, how to get those sales and those transactions within those markets. So it's kind of like targeted ads for people, just talking about like the events that we're doing or things like that. Within those groups.
We got one more.
Well, we have people watching, actually, believe it or not, there's thousands on the live stream. Can't wait to hear what you have to say.
They're all related to John Whitfield.
I'm Scott Gedney from T-Mobile Ad Solutions. I got an easy one, but I'm always curious about names. So, like, where the name of each of your restaurants came from, and how does that play into your marketing efforts?
Yeah, Rusty Fenton founded Rusty Tacos. So, yeah, we're turning 15 this year, and he passed away about 10 years ago, unfortunately. But yeah, we're founded by Rusty, and his wife still works for the brand, so she's very much involved in all of our branding as well. But yeah, we do. We have a really nice little story.
Yeah, so we started in Ventura, and it was actually Urbane Cafe, and Tom went down, he's our owner and CEO, he went down to San Diego and there was like urban pizza, urban this, urban that. And he's like, okay, we need to change this. We need to change it to urbane. So we put the E on the end, patent that, and it means like polite and refined. So we like to say we're politely refining the way you eat. The cafe, we don't have coffee and we open for lunch. So so that is probably one thing that we would love to change, but we're kind of committed at this point. So yeah.
Last call for questions. Natalie, Caprice, thank you guys so much for ending us today.